Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is very difficult to talk about a great person like Hafiz. Hafiz Shirazi, he is an extraordinary man of God, man of human being, man of arts, and man of hikmat and wisdom. If we look at Hafiz in his poetry, lifestyle, in his advices and his beliefs, we can see some very important features regarding this great person. One of them, that is Hafiz is himself an ethical man who was practicing the real ethical and God, divine and human values. And in the same time, Hafiz was a multi-dimensional man. From one side, he was a poet. In other side was a man who was practicing real religion. In the same time, he was very good advisor to the people. And so, if we go deeply to the Hafiz, in his narrative of life, he believes in tolerance. He was practicing what he was preaching. That's why he was calling himself and addressing to himself before others. Before giving and addressing the others, to give the values, to addressing them in different advices, he was advising himself. That's why his speech is much more acceptable. That's why Hafiz is much more welcome in his style of advising and teaching the others. So preaching and practicing before telling to others is much more important in our life. So we have also some very important advice. Be advising the other with non-tongue. Means in practice you advise the others. So we see in his poetry, in his literary, in his technique and style of poem and poetry, he is unique. That's why till now the world couldn't find somebody like him. Going to his style of life, we see Hafiz has some very good technique and theory regarding peace and coexisting, peaceful coexisting between and coexistence between the different peoples. Hafiz was believing all the people are one, because reality is one, because all of us, we are belonging to the God and from one father and one mother. That's why he never was telling and was following the different ways of the people. He said, جنگ 72 ملت همه را عذر بنه چون ندیدند حقیقت ره افسانه زدن. That means this war, these differences, these disputes between the different sects, group, religions, all of them are excused, because they didn't follow the reality and the haqiqat, the real truth. That's why they went and they follow wrong ways. If they see the reality is one, that means God is one, reality, truth is one, there is no difference, no dispute, no fight between the different group, different sects, different human beings. His manner and style for peacemaking is very easy. tolerance, coexisting, peaceful coexisting. So that's why Hafiz, in his technique of advice, he was telling and just saying these phrases by his heart that he took from God, he took from divine values, because God is the creator of the people. He knows what is our need, what is the best order in our life. He was telling, you should go through kindness, tolerance, leniency, forgiveness. You should go to promote peace through peaceful means. You can't make peace by hardship, by using other instruments. If you want peace, your means also should be peaceful. That's why he's saying his order and his advice for that world during his time, our time and future, is one thing, based on two principles. آسایش دو گیتی تفسیر این دو حرف است، با دوستان مروت، با دشمنان مدارا. Means if you want to be in peace, welfare, calmness, friendship, there is only two principles, two rails. Is only two. Be much more kind with your friends, your belongings, and be tolerant and patient with your opponents. Even means that not means you everybody should be like each other. No. Not to think like each other. No. To tolerate each other, despite all differences that exist between you. So, by this way, you may see Hafiz say, درخت دوستی بنشان که کام دل به بار آرد. Plant the friendship tree, because we'll bring a lot of fruits, the fruit of heart, and remove the tree or plant of opponents, enmity, because that will make the world full of trouble for you, full of fight, full of revenge, full of discordance. If you go to Hafiz's school, in his school you will find a lot of kindness, tolerance, brothership, helping each other. If you go to Hafiz's school, you will see Hafiz giving very good advice to us, helping needies, not to look down, not to look on them, and not to try to be upon them by priority or some other non-human values and features. You try to be kind to them, because you don't know. In Hafiz's school, there is no difference between poor, between rich, between black, between white. There is no discrimination, because Holy Quran advising Hafiz, and Hafiz is the Hafiz and the one who took Holy Quran in his heart, because in Holy Quran we have إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم قبائل وشعوبا لتعارفوا. O mankind, we created you from one father and one man and one mother. And we put you in different groups and ethics to know each other. إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. The most dear, the most great, the most close to God from you, the one who is much most and most pious of you, most servitor, not most rich, not the richest one, not the most powerful of you. That's why there is no discrimination. And Hafiz if you want to have your rule, your world, your system safe, you should be kind to the poor people, to the low and the very low people who are in the different type of income and situation of life. Because nobody knows who is great, who is dearest to the God, except the one who is much more servitor to the human being, and he's much more pious. So Hafiz telling in one of his poems, بلاگردان جان و تن دعای مستمندان است، چه بیند خیر از آن خرمن که ننگ از خوشه چین دارد. So underprivileged people, poor people, if you help them to just uprising, to go up, to be in better situation, is a key act to preserve your rule, your system, your government, your country. Or in other side, he has this poem that telling بخواری منگری منعم ضعیفان و نحیفان را که در صدر مجلس اشرت گدای رهنشین دارد. Do not overlook the weak and feeble. Oh, you who are mighty, at the head of the mystics majlis is sitting a homeless poor man, maybe. Nobody knows who will be first. So, إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. Most pious of you is much more and most close to God is the pious. So no discrimination. In other side also, he said, leave the people. Don't bother the people. Affection toward people. Abstaining from harming the others. Helping the needy. دلش به ناله میازار و ختم کن حافظ که رستگاری جاوید در کمازاری است. Do not aggrieve them and end it, Hafiz, that the eternal salvation is to not harm the others. So مباش در پی آزار هر چه خواهی کن که در شریعت ما غیر از این گناهی نیست. Do not seek harming others and do the rest. There is no other sin in our religion except this. Means harming the others, bothering the others, annoying the others is the most great sins in Islam. So if we see the Hafiz, no time to talk about that. But the most important style of Hafiz to combating is biting by arts. Hafiz was using arts as a medium for him to combat non-tolerance and non-human values, non-divine values. Why? So that's why he was satire and satiring by a very artistic ways. He was just omitting the bad features and combating that. In the same time, he was not attacking, aggrieving, and never you find in Hafiz poem any aggressive way, by negative way, and negative combating something that exists in India during the great Gandhi times. Hafiz also, by this way, also was following, promoting the values and peace among the people. Never he talks about war. Never he talks about the despots. But by biting in a very, very delicate satire, he was harming the bad features and bad values. So we think Hafiz giving good advice to us, said human beings should be led by most pious and wisdom people, wise people, in the same time pious. That's why he was claiming Hakim means the one who is very good, knowledgeable, pious, and wise from Muslim communities at that time, and Brahman, the same in Indian style of life and Indian style of religion. So that's why he said, مزاج دهر تبه شد از این بلا حافظ، کجاست فکر حکیمی و رأی برهمنی. Means the world is trouble, Hafiz. Oh Hafiz, oh people, world is in trouble, world is in danger, needs the thing, solution and thought of one Hakim, a Muslim wise man and a Brahman wise man. So still Hafiz never said, oh, take the swords, take the guns. He's advising to go to the wise man. Last but not least, Hafiz was a man of Holy Quran. That's why he was called Hafiz. In 14 different style, he was taking Holy Quran and giving the commentator and teaching Holy Quran. So that's why he was telling, whatever I done, it is by blessing of Holy Quran. هرچه کردم همه از دولت قرآن کردم. Or in other poem he said, ندیدم خوشتر از شعر تو حافظ به قرآنی که اندر سینه داری و یا به قرآنی که تو در سینه داری. So there is nothing sweeter than your poetry. There is nothing sweeter than your poetry, Hafiz. I swear to the Holy Quran that you have in your heart. Hafiz was taking himself in the level of poor and living with the lowest people in his life because he wanted to understand the people, and he was feeling the people, living with them, despite it was a lot of privilege for him to go to the kings, to that, to be a rich man. But he refused. He wanted to be with people. As I told, he was practicing whatever he was preaching. He was believing in whatever telling. That's why after these years of the centuries of Hafiz, still his speech, his advice is very influential. And it is very important. And day by day, the thought and the school of Hafiz is promoting, because he considers himself a man of God and a man of Holy Quran. That's why I say حافظا در کنج فقر و خلوت شبهای تار تا بود درصد دعا و درس قرآن غم مخور. So he was, while in poverty and in solitude and darkness, don't worry from poorness. As far as you are involved with Holy Quran and you are praying for the others, for you yourself. So may I thank all the friends and brothers who arranged this very good and beautiful webinar. I hope whatever I told was useful. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.